So this is kind of random subject matter, but I've been knitting for years and I love it. And I thought I would try and make a video to pass on some of the cooler, gothier patterns I found over the years. Because I know, like, if you just go to your local yarn store and you look at the patterns there, you will find a crap load of like cuddly baby things and old people jumpers, and everything's like pale blue or multicolored or hideous. So yeah, I will pass on what I've found over the years, and I will link everything in the thing underneath, because most of them are online patterns. And ooh, my nails are horrible. That's not good. Don't look at my nails. Don't look at them. So yeah, this is basically a haul video, except that it's shit that I've made, and therefore shit that you can make for the cost of about a tenner. Yeah, so I shall start with this little dude. You can make a few of these in time for Halloween. Little bat, and they hang upside down, and their wings close, and you can do up their little wings with a little button so they can be like a sleeping bat too. Sleeping bat, they're so cute. And he's got like a little blue buddy, and they need to be three, really. I think they need to be three bats. I think that's a good number of bats to have. So this next pattern is one of the only ones that comes out of a book instead of online. And it's a book called Vampire Knits, which is pretty much obsessed with Twilight. But given the title, I couldn't resist. And there are some quite cool things in there. There's like a black shrug that I've made and I can't find. Which is, it's like literally just long sleeves, but it's great because it screws up into a ball about this big, so you can take it out clubbing in a bag, and it's awesome. But the thing I have found is this clubbing bag. I made one like 4 years ago and it's knackered now, so I've made another one. You can use whatever words you want on it, but I went for like a vampiric slogan with squiggly wigglies, and the same on the back-ish. And it's got satin lining, so obviously it does involve a bit of sewing. I hate sewing, but it's all done now, and hopefully it's going to last me years and years, and that is my new clubbing bag. Hooray! And the gothest pattern in the world, a massive black cloak, which took ages to knit, but I love it. It's like the most goth reading blanket in the world. It's really, really warm, and you can just curl up in it and read, or you can pretend to be a mad bat in your kitchen swooping around like a lunatic. So this pattern I liked so much, I've made two of them. One's got a skull on, and one's got this really hyperactive bat. I found a site online where you can draw your own designs just like by clicking and dragging with a mouse, which is so much better and easier than trying to do it on squared paper by hand. So I've got this bat on the front and squirrely bats, swoopy bats on the bottom, and some Picardy bats on the back. And it's got fishnet sleeves, so it's not really hot. I did downsize this pattern by about 10% so that it sits on the shoulders instead of being off the shoulder, but I will leave those notes down there. Apologise for the strange switch of camera. The colours weren't showing up right on here, so I've had to switch my digicam. Anyway, this thing is my favourite pattern in the whole world. I make at least one every winter. It's like knitting with cobwebs, and it has so many sparkly bits in, and I think they're cool. And you can wear them kind of as a scarf or as like a hoodie thing. It looks better if you've got something over the shoulders. But I love it, and I've made one in just about every colour, but I think black really looks best, obviously. But anyway, this winter I found out, I read somewhere about Victorian dresses with iridescent beetle wings sewn onto them as like embroidery. I was like, that's pretty freaking cool. I'm going to see if I can find some beetle wings. So I found some on eBay, and they are like fucking gorgeous. They are like demon fingernails, and it's quite fiddly, like making holes in them and stuff to get them onto the yarn, but I think it's going to be worth it. So I've started making another scarf, and it looks like a demon cobweb filled with like evil alien bugs, and I think it's going to be freaking cool when it's done. Ooh, shiny. So yeah, and this is a free pattern. It's online, it's completely free, so I will link it, and you should totally try it because it's awesome. So these fingerless gloves are another one of my favourite patterns. They've got so much cabling in that if you did it in black, there would be no point, you wouldn't see any of it. So it's quite a good excuse to use some kind of colour phasing rainbow yarn, which I cannot resist. I've also made some of a slightly different pattern in pink and black with little skull buttons, but I think fingerless gloves are just awesome. Like, it doesn't take all that long, it's not a huge commitment, and if you get ones that have got loads of cabling and detail in them, I just find it so addictive. Like, I can't put it down when it's that detailed. And like I know everyone says if you're starting knitting you should knit a scarf. Don't knit a fucking scarf. Knitting scarves is so boring. You will just be bored shitless and you will be put off knitting forever. Like I would seriously recommend just learn the basic frickin' stitches on just a little bit of yarn and then attempt a sock or a fingerless glove or something that's actually interesting. And if you find a stitch in the pattern that you have no idea how to do, which will happen and happens to everyone all the time, go to YouTube and put in knitting techniques or knitting help, and then the name of the stitch, and you will find a video of someone doing the stitch. And honestly, that's the best way to learn. Like, don't try and look up instructions written in words. Find a video, and yeah, you can find everything on YouTube about knitting. It's awesome. One final thing, another pair of fingerless gloves, because you can never have too many. These are really long, but they take no time at all to knit up. They are super, super quick. And these grey bits, fluffy bits, it's the same yarn as the cobwebby cowl. So if you have any left over, these are a good thing to make. So yeah, that is everything. And as I say, I will link everything below. You might have to join Ravelry for some of it. But I would seriously recommend that anyway. Like, Ravelry is brilliant. You can just ditch all those crappy yarn store patterns forever once you have Ravelry. And obviously, because you can see other people's attempts at patterns, you can see what problems other people had and how it turned out with different yarns. And you're going into a pattern a lot less blind than you are when you just buy one in a book or whatever. So yeah, Ravelry is excellent to join it. And I apologise if this video is really rambly and if I'm speaking at 100 miles an hour. I've been eating chocolate and I'm completely caffeine intolerant, and chocolate is like horrible crack, and I'm never going to eat chocolate again because it's been killing me, and I've taken lots of Valium and I am still shaking. So anyway, bye bye.